for a match against Brighton, but I wanted to make sure that it wasn't on, Paramount also.
Paramount, yeah, and then my other was like, "Oh shit, is it on CBS Sports Network?" No, but it's on the FA Player.
It is. Oh, it is on FA. Okay, so FA Player, and then C plus if you have it.
Yes.
So shout out, we are live bright and early. It is me, along with me, Samigo, Tom Bomb, rocking SOB merch. I love it. I love it. New SOB merch is on the way. Considering we got new logos and such, I'm super excited.
Ooh, ooh,
That's all that means.
ooh, ooh,
Mm.
ooh, ooh.
Little early morning sillies. I love it.
That's
Let's
right.
go.
That's right.
Oh man. Okay, so first of our two matches today, cockle doodle doo mofos.
I love it, Adam. I love the energy.
Man, goodness gracious. Match against Brighton is the first match we'll talk about. Our baby blue baddies. We will be back for a watch party against Chelsea. Uh, I'm trying to decide if I'm gonna just snatch. This is about the men's, but I definitely want to bring it up because I shared it. But Patrico, he shared the quote at Pep's uh, second embargo interview. He does an embargo interview that can't be released until like late at night. It's silly, but that's always the spicy interview. And in
Right.
this, I shared it in the group chat where he was just like, "Look, I told Cole he could stay, and Mahrez, he had plenty of time, and he's like, no, I gotta go. I gotta get out of here. So, bye." And I was like, yes, I love it when I'm right. That's all. I just wanna be like, hey guys, you remember that time when I was right? That's it. All right. Well, I got our baby blue baddies lineup all right here. So let's pull
Yes.
this up because, oh man, I think with the international, we're gonna do a mailbag episode next week because the men are on international duty, and a couple of the questions that were sent in by Shady Gang had to do with our baby blue baddies and
Love it.
specifically with contracts and maybe
Okay.
even potential striker slash winger problems. Like they shout
Ooh.
out to Shady Gang. They really kind of got into it, and they're
Ooh, we're
because of
getting
them.
into the weeds. I love
Uh-huh.
it.
I do. I really do. It's cool to see. So our starting lineup in this order, which I hate so much, Keating, Alexandri is the captain. I guess I never noticed that.
She was the captain though in the last match or in the when we played last weekend
Yeah,
too.
last week.
So shout out to Leia Alexandri. Again,
True.
23 years old, captain of the squad.
Yeah.
That
Shout out.
says a lot about the player.
Right.
That just says a
And
lot about the player.
she has been massive. Yeah.
Yes.
Fowler, Kennedy, Engeldahl, Morgan, Roard, Shaw, Hasagawa, Kennedy, and Blackstad. So, I mean, I assume Blackstad impressed in her time against Liverpool. Yeah, that's who
I'm
we played.
yeah. Yeah, in the midweek. I'm
Mhm.
guessing so. I guess we're still doing this Julie Blackstad as an outside back experiment.
I don't think
She
it's an experiment, bud, because I was chatting with a couple people on Twitter yesterday, and their whole thing was because I was saying we just need to re-sign Wahhabi because she's one of the people whose contract can go
right.
out, and they were
Mhm.
like, Blackstad also her contract goes out, and everybody was like, nope, Blackstad, we prefer Blackstad, and I was like, I don't. So apparently that's her position, and
Blackstad's the younger player, so I get that,
yeah,
but um Wahhabi just seems a little bit more versatile to me. That's just
yes.
to me. That's to me.
And that's what I was seeing. But we don't always have to agree with each other. But
Right.
again, I'm still relatively new to the club. But I was like, what I was seeing, sometimes you need those. I hate saying this, but the older players, the more veteran players. Hobby's 30, so that means you know what you're going to get from her. You're going to get this consistency. You don't have to worry and stress and the ups and
Right.
downs that you potentially could have with a player like Blackstad.
Right. So there will be some growing pains, but I think it was probably like even 2 weeks ago. It was interesting to see her come in at left back to see
Mhm.
her actually go up against Beth Mead, which was in the Euro 2021s. Everybody was like, "No, you can't do that. That's all bad. That's a bad idea," and it was. But she acquitted herself better for City in that match than she did for Norway in that previous match. So
Mhm.
there's that.
Yeah.
So it's going to look like a 4-3-3. Morgan, Kennedy, Alexandri, Blackstad, the back four, midfield, Yui, Felipe Angeldal, and Jill Roord. Up top, you're going to see Kelly, Shaw, and Fowler. Um, I am interested to see if maybe this plays out more as like a two striker setup with Kelly and Shaw up top and Mary
Oh.
Fowler kind of running around behind them.
Oh.
Um, and then the it wouldn't surprise me if Kelly or Shaw started out a little bit wider and kind of left those pockets for Fowler to kind of pop up in. But it we also have seen Fowler be pretty effective when playing out wide. So that will be interesting to see. I'm not sure. I guess of those the four defenders, if any of them is going to pop into the midfield, like we've seen, it would either be Esme Morgan or Laya Alexandri. I don't think that Blackstad or Kennedy really have that versatility that we would seeing. And yes, Adam, she is more of a right-sided forward, but the thing about that is, so is Chloe Kelly too. So there there might be a lot of stepping on each other's toes for space. Let's hope that is not the case.
Mhm.
Um, I because I could see a situation in where we just play a back three and just push Blackstad up so high that she's essentially what's giving us the width on the left. So that could also be something. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how Garrett trots him out.
What I
Um,
am worried about, and I guess it's not necessarily a worry, and I just need to see her more in this position and comfortable, is Esme as center back, because I assume that that's the position she's playing. And she's also versatile. She can play out wide, she can play center back. She's tall, but I just feel like when the ball gets into the penalty box, whereas Houghton, well, Houghton sometimes helps also, but whereas like Kennedy and Greenwood, they'll tend to take the ball down, maybe try to look for a pass. I see a lot of Esme. Just the second she gets near the ball, it's just kick it, and
yeah,
there's no real direction of where she's kicking it. She's just hoofing it, and we got
yeah,
into a lot of trouble every single time she did that. And that just worries me. That
yeah.
is the only worry that I have. I still trust Blackstad because I believe, her wingers, they're going to help support her. The midfield's going to help support her. But yeah, that's the one. Brighton, they're not a bad squad. I mean, we can switch and look at their lineup. You can let me know what you see with the lineup, what they're offering.
So Brighton's gonna set up in a Christmas tree, basically. Um, they will have Sophie Bagley in goal, uh, excuse me, Emma Kolberg, old friend alert, Vicky Lasada, uh, Berg's fan, Guro Berg's fan, Maria Thor's daughter, and Mengwin Lee on their back line. That is interesting to see. Vicky Lozada has essentially been put to Brighton's back line. That's very odd.
Mhm.
Um, in their midfield line, Elizabeth Turland, Tatiana Pinto, Katie Robinson, and another old friend alert, Pauline Bremer. Um, and then up top, Julia Ome. Um, Brighton's probably going to feel hard done by their last match. They last played United. United's or they got out to a 1 goal lead. United equalized. They got the second goal in the 89th minute. United equalized in stoppage time. Um, so they're probably going to be. That was probably the best match that they've played in the league all season. Um, they have only won one match this season. That was against Everton in the opener, and so they have not won since they played Birmingham City in
Mm,
the Conti Cup. So they're going to be looking for a win. Um, it appears as though they are going to sit back and be difficult to break down and just play on the break. So City is going to have to be exacting in breaking this side down at home. Um, Again, just to be on my Tarek stoop real quick, I am yes, I am terrified against of Vicky Lozada and
yeah.
Pauline Bramer playing in this match, just because that is going to be essentially their offense. Uh, and like you never want to see former players do well against you. Um, so I this does set up to be a very, very interesting match. Um, but it's at home. It's at the Joy Stadium. It's at the Joy. The Joy is in our heart.
In our hearts.
In our heart.
And they haven't lost at Joy for now over a season and
Correct.
almost a quarter now because
Yes.
the WSL season is so short.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, it's just the dominance at home makes me hopeful. Seeing the lineup, I have the utmost uh, confidence in our players right now. Just the way that they're playing. Chloe Kelly doing what she did in one half against Liverpool. She's in
She's
form. I love that. That means less pressure on Bunny. She was able to rest on
mhm.
Wednesday.
Yes.
Uh, yes, Shaw is more of a right-sided forward without being a winger. She just goes wherever there's space and will dribble. I want us to figure out a way so Bunny doesn't have to run through three defenders half of the pitch in order to get a shot on goal. We need to figure out a way to get Bunny the ball further up the pitch. And maybe it's just her instead of her taking the ball, turning and running, just lay it off to another player and then let them chip it to her so that she can run onto the ball. There's just, I feel like she's still taking on too much of the attack when we have quality players around her.
And I would say that that is correct. And I think that if you look at the other two forwards that are deployed with her, you have Chloe Kelly and Mary Fowler, who might not take defenders on in the same way Lauren Hemp does, but are probably better crossers of the ball, better passers of the ball than Lauren Hemp is. So it would not surprise me if this is all set up to have Bunny do well to get run on to those passes that you were talking about, her higher up the pitch, um, and then see those deep midfield runs from Jill Roord or maybe even a Felipe Angeldal um, in this case too. So
Yeah, I Felipa, she's another person whose contract expires, and
sign her,
yes, yes, and
sign her.
when she was when she wasn't starting last week, they showed like the players walking off the bus and everything. She looked angry. She looked annoyed. You know how I am. I'm Mr. Read between the lines and everything.
hmm
She then came on in the second half and did great. I
Yes.
and now we see her starting again. Sometimes you just need that inspiration, especially because Engeldal seems to be kind of that even keeled person. So sometimes you kind of have to piss those people off in order to get them
Yes.
to focus. So,
Like I'm gonna piss you off so mad you're gonna actually like speak.
right?
And
I'll
it's
show them.
right.
Yes, show
Exactly.
me.
That's what I want.
Oh man, shoot, hold on. I hate when things just go. Whoop. I had a
Mm.
thought. I had a. Oh man, what was it? Ingaldahl. Yeah, because there was like a list of. It was actually I was kind of shocked by how many players contracts expired at the end of this
Mhm.
year. It was a good like 10 players. I was like, oh my god, Niels, what are you doing? I thought you said your job was to get players signed, but I guess that means we're. I think we're just gonna have heavy turnover, and there's just gonna be a whole new batch of players because right, out of the 11, if Greenwood is healthy, we know what nine, maybe eight out of the 11, which are going to start basically every single match.
Right.
A lot of those players with contracts expiring, other than what was it, Hemp. And Engeldahl's not a consistent starter, but Hemp was really the main one. It was Hemp, Keating, Engeldahl. What?
Wait, didn't Keating just sign a contract extension?
I thought so, but that's what that thing said. It said that it was Keating, and
Hmm.
it stressed me the hell out.
Yeah, it's stressing me out.
Let's see if I can. Oh, how do you? There we go. It's like, how do you spell expiring? Oh man, uh, that was crazy. Typing is hard. Oh god.
Oh, she had signed her first pro contract last season. It was a
Oh
2 year
yeah, and
contract.
okay, that makes sense. Well, and and that makes sense too, because at that time, you didn't really know what you were gonna have with her. She was behind Roebuck and MacGyver.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, MacGyver, and they just you never really knew, and she probably would have deserved a chance to do her own thing. You know it's shit when the quiet mom voice turns into full volume.
Yeah. That's very true. That is very, very true.
uh, man, shoot, man, I love seeing. Oh, I can't wait till we get till I can finally go to a match because I mean I love seeing these Baby Blue Baddies supporters, official supporters,
Yes.
MCWFC supporters going to the match. But it's just like one day I'm gonna be you guys,
That's
and I'm gonna
gonna
be able to
be
kick it with you
me.
guys, and I'm gonna be
Right,
cheering with you
exactly.
guys. Oh my gosh, I'm
Yes.
gonna
Singing
buy
all
a
the
million
songs.
pins. I'm just gonna be like
Yes.
Mr. Pin guy.
Yep.
Oh my
Mhm.
gosh. Um. Yes. Speaking. Let's stick on this. That's what I want to talk about. Hemp. I want to stay on hemp. Are we gonna resign her? Because she's on the bench. Fowler is hot. You can't really bench Fowler. You saw last week. Gareth tried to play everybody at once. Chloe, Hemp, Fowler, and Shaw. That didn't look the best. It didn't play the best. How are you feeling? Because I'm pretty sure you thought that Hemp was going to get extended, and I honestly thought so too. But seeing this makes me a little nervous. Makes me a little worried.
But she did start at the midweek too, and I feel like because there's not like because we're not in Champions League and this is the only other competition that we're in, and we do have quite a bit of depth of quality of squad, it's not necessarily surprising to see the squad rotated in the manner that it is.
Mm,
Um, so like I'm not necessarily concerned that like Lauren Hemp is not starting. I personally do not think that it gives the vibe like, oh, Lauren Hemp's not starting. That means that City's not going to resign her.
okay.
I don't believe that that is. I think that that's more of a function of she started at the midweek. Um, now we can talk about what happens when City plays the Derby, and does she not start in the Derby? Because if she doesn't start in the Derby, that's like, Oh,
Okay, but again,
okay.
let's play this. Okay, first, how do you? So he did very much what City did. Uh, what City does, Adam. He did the four defenders, the pivot, and then the three players, and Shaw was up top. So that 4-2-3-1.
4-2-3-1.
That's what it was. So it
Yep.
was Shaw, then it was Fowler, Hemp, Kelly, but they all kind of just moved
Yeah,
wherever they
like
wanted
yeah,
to.
all three of them like the it's and it wasn't necessarily that it was bad. Like I felt like City probably like had the a better play um than than Arsenal did in the last
Yes.
match.
Oh
I was
God,
like, ooh, yeah, I know.
Jonas. Ugh.
I know. I know. Which
We'll talk about that
damn
plenty recording
is
tonight because
I was about
I got clips lined up. It's actually going to be a part of my intro. I'm actually this is probably going to be one of the first times that I actually talk about both the men's and the women's in my little intro monologue. Usually, I just pick one
big
and
one.
just
Yeah.
go,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I'm pivoting. I'm just throwing elbows at everybody. I'm big annoyed, and I love it too because with those monologues that I do, sometimes I'm not even inspired, and then something crazy happens 24 hours
Mhm.
before our recording. That I'm like, let's go, baby, and then I'm just furiously typing.
I think uh in this particular match, I think the biggest thing will just be can we be clinical?
Mm.
There were some times that we were not against Arsenal, obviously. There were even some times in the midweek match against Liverpool that were not. And that's difficult to say when you score 4 goals in a match. But it'll be a lot about breaking this side down. They've in the 5 matches played in the WSL season, they've already let in 10 goals.
Mm.
So I am going to go ahead and say this is a 3-1 City victory
Mm.
at the Joy Stadium. Just seems right.
Yeah, I can see that. 3-1. I like that. I like 3-1 just because I want a more exciting scoring line and don't want to say the same thing. I will say 4-1.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah,
It's a good
I,
shot.
I think I could see, especially home. We just play much better at home.
Mhm.
We the club, our Baby Blue Baddies specifically, seem to turn it on in the second half.
Yes.
And that's what all the conditioning and the play style and stuff comes in handy because you're just passing it around. You're making the ball do a lot of the running. Brighton's defense, like you said, they're struggling. I think they're going to do a lot of running. And if Vicky and Bremer can't get their stuff started in the first 10, 15 minutes, I'm hoping that can shut people up. Keating does need. I want a great showing from. I mean, she's always had a great showing, even other than the the mistake. Even in that, she had a great showing. I just for the sake of moving on and not letting media continue nonsense and drama and clickbait lines. I just want an outstanding match from her.
Adam, to answer your question, no. The women do not play like the men for Brighton. Uh, Melissa Phillips does not have Matoma on the pitch for her.
That'd be
Um,
nice. I mean, it would be.
it would be fun. It would be
Yeah.
fun.
Uh-huh.
But no, they do not play in that same way. They are gonna sit like one of the things that's so much different than women's football than men's football is that because the talent is not as easily identified by clubs, the talent's not as evenly distributed. So
Mm.
you're going to have teams that have more talent than others. I mean, not to say that the WSL did have an explosion of talent this season, just in who signed where and all of that. Um, but Brighton is still not a side where they're gonna um, You respect them because they're in the league, but they're not necessarily expected to s finish in the top 3 in the league or even top half of the table necessarily.
Just
So,
vibes.
no, they do not play like the men do.
All right, well, let's finish up so we can all get our proper things
Let's
switched to either the FA player or City Plus.
yes.
We will be back in, I was trying to do the math real quick, 3 hours for our City Men watch along against Chelsea.
Yep.
I am Crunch Chocolate. This is Tom Bomb. We are Shades of Blue. You know the vibes. The elephant in the room. Pano has. Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I can't do
yeah,
it. Can't do
yeah.
it.
No,
Can't
no,
do it.
no.
Can't do it.
And you know the vibes. Shady gang, shady gang.